Hello and welcome. Here I review movies, and today I watched Imaginary. It's a horror film following a woman moving back into her childhood home with her family. There she discovers the imaginary friend she left behind and finds out just how angry her departure made him. Jeff Wadlow, Greg Erb, and Jason Orumland wrote the story, and Jeff Wadlow directed the film, which stars DeWanda Wise as Jessica, Tegan Burns as Taylor, and Piper Braun as Alice. Okay, there aren't many positives, but let's start there anyway. The cast of this film is giving it their best effort, especially DeWanda Wise, who stands out for her efforts to make Jessica's emotional journey work. She's asked to play a troubled stepmother struggling to get involved with her stepkids' lives, and does it in a heartbreaking and realistic way. Wise gives an A+ emotional performance and nails the few reactions her character was given. Alongside her, the two young actors, Tegan Burns and Piper Braun, also put in a solid effort. There were no bad performances here. Alongside the visual journey, they used a lot of tension tracks that did a good job of hyping up the scary moments. They usually consist of rising tones with a bunch of odd sounds tossed in to create creeping tension. They set the mood well and create the right atmosphere for jump scares to thrive. It's just too bad there weren't any jump scares worth setting up. Which leads me to this film's negatives, of which there are a lot. The story, for starters, makes sense but is so boring that I almost fell asleep multiple times. You're spending time with this mundane family in their new home, and they keep setting up tense moments where you expect something to pop out and then nothing happens. The few times the monster shows up, it startles someone, but it doesn't harm them or do anything all that scary. It just creeps up on them and then presents a shadowy figure when they least expect it. The first and only death comes over an hour and 20 minutes into the film, and it's an off-screen implied sequence. A woman is dragged into a room and the audience hears some screams and animal grunts before some blood seeps out from under the door. It's lame as hell. The visual journey is terribly lit. Half the time, the room they're in is completely shrouded in darkness. They use the low lighting to help set up their jump scares, but it's so dark that even when the monster appears, you can't actually see it. There's also nothing special happening with the visual effects. There's a few basic monster costumes that we see for short instances and always in bad lighting, like the bear monster and the beetle man. There's also a few standard jump scares, and there is a moving teddy bear with black eyes. None of it has much of an impact, and the film as a whole isn't scary or exciting from a visual standpoint. The film doesn't take any risks story-wise, visually, or even with its dialogue. It's an incredibly simple film that doesn't have much to offer. For me, the only redeeming quality was the effort the actors were putting in. Overall, Imaginary is the kind of film I've come to expect from Blumhouse. Since Megan, they've put out a string of duds that don't seem to have any budget behind them. They can't make scary monsters or do any kind of real makeup work, so they end up doing jump scares over and over again. It's lame, the stories are never that original, and without solid visuals, it's almost impossible to make horror work as a genre. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 3 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.